Okay, so the topic for today's satsang is balancing work and spiritual life. Now, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verses 16 and 17 tell us, Krishna is saying to Arjuna that if you are eating, sleeping, or working excessively or less than what you should do, then you cannot be a yogi. So I'm just paraphrasing. The exact words are, of course, in Sanskrit, but this is what it means. If you are eating, sleeping, or working excessively or less than you should, then you cannot be a yogi. And this should make us introspect as to what we are doing with our life. And let me ask you a question. Is work and life a marginated or a bordered entity? Should my spiritual life and my secular life be different? Or in Hindi, you can say, क्या मेरा आध्यात्मिक जीवन और मेरा व्यवहारिक जीवन ये अलग चीजें हैं बिल्कुल. एक टाइम, थोड़े टाइम के लिए आध्यात्मिक, बाकी टाइम के लिए व्यवहारिक, और बीच में एक लाइन है. ऐसा हो सकता है? Or is life a continuum? It is an integrated one whole. So then how can we separate, and why should we separate? And if you look everywhere around you, you find people are working. This is a Rajasic planet. People are going to work. We are going to work. But what are they working for? So mostly people are working for career advancement or wealth accumulation over and above what they really need. And this is the problem of Dwapar Yuga as well. So now if you look around, you find that, yes, people are running around to do the same thing over and over again, wanting to have more of a thing or wanting to have a variety of the same thing. And then they do not know when to stop. And then what happens? Life starts to become melancholic, monotonous, mechanical, boring. You get up in the morning, there is no joy and enthusiasm. You're not looking forward to anything. And in fact, corporate life, you see people are burnt out, literally nervous breakdown. And then what do they have to change that? They only know alcohol and they only know sleep. This is the sad story of today. So basically, they know only two states of consciousness. One is the conscious level when they're working, and the other is the subconscious level, which either sleep will take you there, daydreaming will take you there, and alcohol will take you there. So reduce. So people think that reducing your level of awareness is going to solve your problems. Now, this is totally going opposite to the spiritual path. The spiritual path is all about increasing your awareness, watching your problem, looking at them in the eye, fighting with them, and being victorious. And that cannot happen unless you are able to touch the third state of consciousness, which is the superconscious state. And without meditation, how can you touch the superconscious state? You cannot touch. So if you see life as a whole, you have to have all the three states of consciousness in balance. And that comes with meditation, that comes with the Guru's grace. I remember Swamiji once telling us that he was staying with a businessman in a businessman's house, and that businessman would come in the evening, and then he would say that, I'm going to meditate now, and my real life will begin now. So Swamiji actually objected to that. He said that this is the wrong attitude. So again, he's telling us that our work life and our spiritual life cannot be bordered entities. They have to be one whole. We have to integrate these two. And just like, joy, wisdom, these are not destinations. This is the journey that we take from now on. Same is for balance. So it's not that I will reach my balance in life somewhere in the future, at some other place. But you have to take the first step of balancing my life right now. I have to challenge myself to bring my life to balance. Why am I saying challenge myself? Because people are living a particular set of life in a way, and it's like a habit, and they are living it mechanically. So when you challenge yourself, you have to increase your awareness, you have to increase your energy, then only you can bring about a change. And then only you can see that there is disharmony, and then you can introduce harmony into your life. Therefore, you have to challenge yourself to bring yourself to a balance. So how do we change it now? Now, mostly we think that we are these bodies and personalities, and that's it. Now, that's a fallacy. We are souls. Krishna was not lying when he said you are the Atman. He was not passing some time. Okay, it's the truth. We are a soul. The soul has a body. The soul has a mind. The soul has a feeling heart. And of course, it's the soul itself. So that means you need to balance all these areas of your life if you truly want harmony and happiness. So you have to maintain physical well-being. You have to follow the laws of right living with diet, with pranayam, with exercise, with Sunlight and Master we know has given us such amazing techniques for healing. And for the mind, we need to be in right company. We need to be reading the right material. We need to be inspired. We need to have enthusiasm and high mental vitality so that our mind is alive and not dulled by the world that is around us. And for my heart, what do I do for my heart? I need to have good friends. Swamiji had, everybody was Swamiji's friends. And everybody thought Swamiji is my own personal best friend. This was the beauty of living with Swamiji. So just check yourself. Do you have friends? And if you don't have friends, are you waiting others to befriend you? Or are you opening your heart and saying, I'm your friend? Whether you want to be my friend is okay. What did Master say? Master, if you approach a friend, you say, okay, I'm your friend. But if he says, oh, I don't want to be, then you put your hand in your pocket and you forget it. But then if he says, okay, I want to be your friend, take out your hand and say hi. So it's like you offer your friendship and love. And you don't say, I will be his friend because he has become my friend. I am his friend because it is my nature to expand. It is my nature to love. And that is why how my heart is going to be opened and it's going to be in harmony with the rest of the world. And of course, for the soul, we need to meditate, chant. You have a big toolbox given by Master. You have all the techniques there. Pick up each one according to the need of the day. Be a smart devotee. You have many tools. So as you progress through the day, you can pick any of these and fill yourself with the joy of God before you actually go to your work. Okay. Another thing that I would like to request all of you is not to wait to retire again. So balance is not a destination. It is a journey. So all those people who think that I will start my spiritual life after I retire. Now, what is the guarantee that you're going to have a physically fit bodily instrument once you retire? Hardly any guarantee. You're going to be worried more about the aches and pains of the body, the medicines and the bills that you have to pay for to the doctor. That is your worry. And then is your mental makeup going to be very good after you retire? No. It's going to, the memory, the ability to grasp, all of that, the ability to focus and concentrate is going to go down. So why wait? Do it right now. You have to start right now. And frankly speaking, if you bring a balance in all the areas of your life, then the wanting to retire also is not there anymore, because every day you're living a balanced, a harmonious life, you are filled with joy, then you're not looking forward to finishing one job and then starting another. It has to be an intermingling right now. Let's take the example of Swami Pranabananda, Autobiography of a Yogi, chapter 3. So when Mukunda is visiting Swami Pranabananda, Swamiji says to him, I'm receiving 2 pensions, one by the recommendation of your father and one by the recommendation of the Heavenly Father. And Mukunda is, of course, curious, and he says, Swamiji, what do you mean by pension from the Heavenly Father? Does he drop money in your lap? And Swamiji says then that it is the unfathomable peace, that pension I'm receiving, and it is a result of years of intense meditation. And even when Pranabanandaji was working, even then it is said that he used to meditate 8 hours a night. And he came to a point where he still felt, that there was a veil between him and the cosmic beloved. So he requested Lahiri Mahasaya to intercede for him. And with the intercession of Lahiri Mahasaya, that veil dropped and Swami Pranabananda was one with the cosmic beloved. So our Guru is the master is the one who has come to drop that veil. But have you asked him to drop the veil? And have you worked up enough in your spiritual and daily life that you are you are an adhikari for that veil to be dropped? So that is the job that we have to do. And the Guru is waiting that when will he come to that point where he can actually finally drop that veil for us. Even Lahiri Mahasaya, we know he worked till he was 58 years of age. So he did not take VIS before that. He was working till 58. After that, of course, he had this whole spiritual life. But did that prevent him from reaching the spiritual heights that he did? He has. He's the yoga avatar. He met Babaji in the 33rd year of his life, and he worked till 58 as an accountant. And he was full of the light of God. So nothing, we have no excuse actually to say that I'm working, therefore I cannot find God right now. I don't have the time to find God right now. God won't have time for you. Maybe the next moment, maybe the next breath doesn't come. Who knows? Isn't it? Okay, so let's think of practical ways as to how we balance our work and spiritual life. So the first would be remembering God while we work. So Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he said that you should think of God before you work, you should think of God while you work, and you should think of God after you work. So basically speaking, he is saying, think of God all the time. He said, when you're working, you keep one hand on your work and the other hand on the feet of Divine Mother. And when you've finished working, then you keep both hands on the feet of Divine Mother. Now, you may say that, is that not unjust to the work I'm doing? If I'm thinking of my work all the time, then how am I going to do my work? Now, the answer to that is there are hardly few minutes or seconds in our day when we are so engrossed in our work that we have no other thought in our mind. We are leading more than 95% of our life at a subconscious level, at a reflex, at a habit level. So even when I'm writing an email, I may have layers of thoughts behind it. Okay, what am I going to do in the evening? What is my next vacation plan? I have to repay my loan. My children have to do this. So there are layers of thought under the working layer. So actually, all those layers have to be removed by thinking of God. So you are to do your work, but the rest of your mind is to be thinking of God. And Yogananda ji also said the same thing. He said, keep the searchlight of your attention turning towards God. Just like the compass is always north-south facing, you should also be facing God all the time. In the battle din of activity, let your silent war cry be, God, God, God. Now, this line I really find very interesting. He acknowledges that life is a battlefield. We all know it is a battlefield. And if it is a battlefield and we are the warriors, and if we have to fight this battle, then do we fight to win or do we fight to lose? If it's a battle worth fighting, then it's a battle worth winning. And how do we win the battle? Our silent war cry is God, God, God. And that will make sure that we win this battle of life. Now, how do we, again, let's come to our daily life and see, well, how do I introduce God into every moment of my life? So thanks to technology, we can have audio visual cues. On my phone, I always have Babaji's picture or Divine Mother's picture. Even the ringtone of my mobile would be a song by Swamiji or some chant or some bhajan. So every time, even my computer screen, if it sleeps and it wakes up, it'll have some of the master sitting there. You too can do the same thing. Keep a picture of Guruji at your working desk, inside a file, maybe inside a drawer if you feel that the office environment is not so conducive. But don't let go of the gurus, basically. The gurus are not letting go of you. You are letting go of them. Hold on to them. Piche pad jao. Chodo mat. Just keep looking at them. In their eyes, go deep into their eyes. Call them with your heart. And your work will become meditation. Right there, right then. Also, during your day, you have breaks to like have water or maybe sip a cup of tea. Use that moment to think of God, to thank God. And this is a practice that I have used for many years. So whatever I'm going to be talking today, it is not just I have read it, I have practiced this, I completely know that this works. In fact, I'm known in my relatives as doctor by day and yogi by night. So, so I've practiced all of these things and I know all of them work. So while I'm drinking water, so when I feel water or I see water, I think of Narayana. The word Narayana means the flowing waters, the all-pervading one. So as I sip my water, I will always mentally chant Om Namo Narayana. And in my mind, I will have the vision of Vishnu nicely sleeping on his serpent couch, deep in the depths of the ocean. And this is also very scientific. We know that water has memory. We know that if suppose I'm drinking water and I'm saying, उसने मेरा ये बिगाड़ा अभी देखो मैं क्या करता हूँ and I'm full of hatred and jealousy and envy, then the memory goes into the water goes into my system. That water converts into the cellular water in my body and I carry those same thoughts in every part of my body. Instead of that, if I even say God bless everybody while I'm drinking water, or I love you, God, or whatever that comes to you. Just think of God in that moment. Thank him in that moment. Having tea, do that again. What else can you do? So suppose you're a business person or you're a, let's say, a banker and you have a client right in front of you. So try to see them as manifestations of the divine. Mentally take a pause. This is what, again, I do personally. So whenever I have a patient, let's say it's a pregnant mother, an elderly lady, or a small baby, I mentally bow down to Divine Mother and I ask her, how can I help? What do you want me to do? So similarly, the person, the client standing in front of you is nothing but the manifestation of God. There is nothing except God that exists. So whether you like it or not, or whether you believe it or not, that person is God. It's up to you to modify your consciousness and accept that truth and then work accordingly. So try to modify your consciousness to see everyone as God and then work. How would you work? Now ask yourself, how would you behave if that person was the Chaturbhuj Vishnu or the Ashtabhujat Ma in front of you? How would you behave? And then behave accordingly. And you will find, how will this help? This will increase the joy in your life. This will increase the satisfaction in your life. You have already integrated your work life and your spiritual life. You've brought God into every moment of your day, in every beat of your own heart. And suppose you're not dealing with people, and that free time you can continue to do mental japa. Also, even when you are doing a particular work, you ask for guidance. Suppose an accountant is getting stuck with his numbers, mentally pray to Ma, and she will tell you what to do. I do this also many times. So if I have a patient who's very complicated and I'm having a confusion between what could be the list of the diagnosis that could be, I will take a moment to ask Ma or the Guru, and we do get guidance. We all know, many of us who've been practicing meditation, you do get a direction of thought. So unless we do all these things, the intellectual mind is always caught between whether I should do this or this or this or this. And it never comes to a final conclusion as to which is going to be the best. But once you meditate regularly and you have developed even a little bit of intuition, you just know, okay, this is the right answer. And this is what I need to do. Okay. The second thing that we can do in our daily life is to consider our work not as a job, but as service. So I remember reading a story when Master was alive, and it is said that Master told one of his female disciples that, you should not work so much. And from the next day onwards, he started giving her more and more work, more and more. So she got confused. She said, okay. And of course, everybody knew at that time that the Master doesn't say anything in vain. So it has to have a meaning. It has to have a message or a lesson to be learned. So she meditated on it the whole night. And the next morning when she met Master, she said, Master, we should consider everything as service. And of course, Master was happy. And after that, he stopped giving her the extra load of work. So until we learn our lessons, we are going to get the same challenge again, again, and again. So again, introspect in your daily life. If you're having a repeated challenge on the same issue, meditate on it. Ask Master, what is it that you want me to learn from this matter? And then you will get the solution. And once you change that consciousness, again, challenge yourself to change. And you will find that, oh, there is more light in your life. Now, not only do we serve others, but we consciously, as disciples and devotees, we must consciously act as channels of love, of bliss, of wisdom. So for example, if you're writing an email to a client, now mostly what happens is, एक query आया है, उसको mechanically देखा, इस query का answer ये flowchart है. This is what we think. And we just maybe copy paste that answer to him or mechanically write down the answer. But we forget there is a soul who is going to be reading the mail. And that soul is God. So how should you write your mail in such a way that your love and joy also goes across through the mail? It goes. You will be surprised to know the number of thank you mails that you will start to get once you start having this approach. You will be surprised because you have thrown friendship and love into that mail. It's an unsaid thing. It's a subtle law. But people will appreciate it. People will smile when they read your mail, and you will start getting thank you mails a lot. So introduce that special, unique joy of your being, especially because we are channels of Master. We should do that consciously. And just look around the world. Everybody needs your blessing. Look into the eyes of people wherever you go. Why is there so much sadness and melancholy and irritation? Everybody needs blessings. And if you're in tune with Master, you will be able to yourself be a channel. And the channel is blessed by what flows through it. So you will never have a dearth of those blessings in yourself. I'm remembering a story that Swamiji has mentioned in the New Path. And when he had joined, he was working with a few monks. I think in Encinitas, they were making a building. And on the roof, they had to put some beams and they had to put nails in those beams. And so one of the monks was working very diligently, nicely placing the nails at the right point and stroking them in. And he was taking his time to do it very nicely. So another monk said, there are going to be tiles over this. Nobody is going to see this. And the monk's reply was very beautiful. He said, but God is seeing it. So whenever I'm doing my work, don't think you're doing it for somebody else. You're doing it for yourself. God is in you. He is watching through you. He is looking at your attitude through you. He's feeling your bhav through you. He is not separate from you. He is always watching. Work with that attitude. Bring that God remembrance into your daily life. At everything you do, your life will become more beautiful by the day. Yeah. So what else can we do? We can be calmly active and actively calm. So I'll pick up the calmly active part of this because we can either be restlessly active, nervously active, irritatingly active, and we can be calmly active. We have a choice. But how well do we decide what we are going to be? And how can we be that? Again, a story from Master's life. So it was a time when he was getting late for his lecture. And he started to run towards the lecture hall. So a disciple who was with him, he said, Master, don't be nervous. Master said, I'm not nervous. But not running when you are late is laziness. So what that means is that you can put in a lot of energy and a lot of concentrated energy without getting agitated, nervous, or restless in your mind. You can do intense, focused work, but you can still stay very, very calm in your mind behind that. How are we going to achieve that? In fact, Swamiji's secret to all the creativity is that he never lost his peace. Whatever the situation, you throw anything at him, he never lost his peace and calmness. And in that centeredness of his soul, he could receive infinite inspirations for all the books that we have, the music that we have. So that is the secret. So if you want to be more creative in your work, more inspired, then still yourself in that calmness. And how are you going to achieve that? How will calmness suddenly come in your life? Meditation. Every morning before you go to work, must meditate. Fill your cup of consciousness with so much peace and calmness that it overflows through the day. No, a master used to say that if you have no money in your bank and you start giving checks out, they're all going to bounce and you're going to be in jail. Similarly, if you have no peace in the bank account of your life, and then the whole world will actually want to take your peace away. Whatever little bit you have, they want to take it away, but there is no bank balance. So then obviously you go into nervous breakdown, into agitation, restlessness. So therefore, first fill the bank of your life with peace and calmness by regular, sincere, deep meditation on the Guru, on the infinite. And then once that is full, then your whole day is full of that peace. Also, what you can do in between work is, because the work is sometimes a long day of work. So what I do is sometimes in between patients, and patients are people who are suffering. So they bring in their own negative thoughts, their own negative energy, their own anxiety and worry. So to clear my consciousness of all those vibrations, in between patients, I just take a moment to focus at my spiritual eye, take a long deep breath and offer all that energy into the spiritual eye. And since I've meditated for some time, I can feel a stillness there. So I will relax into that stillness. I will offer myself into that stillness. And then immediately I'm ready for the next patient. This takes 30 seconds or so, not more than that. Anybody and everybody can do such things. So that means you can bring in moments or pauses of stillness in between your work. You have to do that all the time. Another simple thing that you can do is watch your own body. If you feel that there is any tension in any part of your body, means you are stressed and restless. If you feel your neck and your shoulders are tense, your abdomen is very tense, you're having aches and pains, consciously double breathe, inhale and tense and relax. Release that tension from the body. You will find that in retrograde fashion, the mind also calms down. Because you have used the breath, you have used your concentration and alertness, and you have consciously released the physical tension, the mind will also somehow relax. So you will not be able to do this if you're not alert of any body tension. A yogi is always alert. What is happening with me? Where is my mind? Is my body relaxed enough? Am I consciously acting as a channel or not? So you have to be super alert. And then watch yourself and change. Now, sometimes what may happen is we may think that, okay, when I came in the morning, I was very calm. But this particular colleague of mine, whenever this person comes into my life, everything goes haywire. I just lose it. So are you going to let that problem be like that? Or are you going to change it? You have to challenge yourself to change it. How are you going to change it? So first thing that you can do is say the peace and harmony prayer that Master has given. So Lord, fill this person with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. Fill me with peace and harmony, peace and harmony. That is one thing. The second thing that you can do is before you have to approach that person, suppose you have a common project and you cannot just ignore that person, you have to face him. So take a moment to center yourself, to calm yourself and go here. And then with that centered calmness, then talk to him. You will find that over a period of time, you are not affected by his restlessness. And then after a period of time, when you now know that I'm not affected by his consciousness, now you actively, third point would be actively to throw joy at him. Now you're ready to be the victorious warrior. And with your love, with your joy, you can win the enemy over. There is no enemy actually, but still if you think there is. So first, offer a prayer. Second, center yourself. And third, consciously love, consciously give joy. And you will find that you have friends everywhere and your life will become more calmer and smoother. Then what else we can do? We can work with super concentration, complete absorption, and a joyful willingness in our life. Now, beautiful story narrated by Devi Ji from her life. I'm sure a few of you would have heard, but it's worth repeating. So this is a time at Ananda village when an Indian banquet was supposed to be held. And it was Devi Ji's duty to juice some lemons. So she was sitting in the kitchen with a box of lemons, a juicer, and a bowl to collect the juice, and she's juicing the lemons. So a guest just passed by and he saw that she's doing something and she looks very happy. So he thought, okay, let me help. Maybe I also get some happiness. So he offered her that, I want to help you. She said, okay, go and get a box of lemons, a juicer, and a bowl. So this is what he did. And he also sat next to her and he started juicing the lemons. After some time, this man looks at Deviji. He says, I think your juicer is better than mine. So Deviji said, okay, let's trade. So they changed the juicers. Then, okay, they started juicing again. And after some time, this man looks at Deviji. Says, I think your lemons are better than mine. So this time, Deviji again says, okay, let's trade. So again, they trade the lemons. And after some time, this man says, I've got to leave. So what is the difference? The same work, but you need joyful willingness, you need concentration, you need complete absorption into that work, and you see the work as service. Then that activity becomes meditation. Master's advice to Swamiji was, he knew that life of Swamiji is full of editing, lecturing, teaching, activity, and meditation. So we are following Swamiji. Our life is also like that. Intense activity with meditation. So again, we are not going to waste 22 hours of our life saying that this is not my true life. And only 2 hours of my life is true life. It's a waste. If you really want to find salvation in this life, then every minute counts. Do not let go of God. And finally, I would say prioritize your life. Separate. Life has a limited number of years, each human life. And each moment is precious. So separate the must do from the may do. And what is the most important must do? If the highest priority for a devotee is to attain salvation, then he must meditate first. Fix your appointment with God daily. Attend to that appointment. Give love to that appointment. That is your highest duty. Why are we born here? Finally, we have to attain moksha. So why in the next life? Do you think your next life, you're going to have a better boss, better spouse, better house, better car? And then one day in that life, after enjoying everything, when you retire in that life, then you will start looking for moksha. So this is how the cycle is going to trap you. Salvation is now. Salvation is here. Look towards it. Work towards it. It is also important to relax in your work life. So instead of working, then alcohol and sleep, Master said you should work 5 days a week. 1 day for social activities, for finishing of the chores of life, and 1 day for God completely. So again, let's challenge ourselves to change into this pattern. And even when you're relaxing, that can be a higher spiritual activity, like reading book of Swami, Master, or a scripture, like maybe walking in nature by your own self, or maybe just singing to yourself, to God. So the activity that you choose for relaxation should be also of a higher consciousness, and that will pull you more towards freedom. And then don't get your office work to home. So here a margin can be drawn. Office is there. Of course, if you're on a call person, if you're a surgeon or something, well, then it is part of your dharma. But otherwise, let your work be at your workplace, and at your home life be a different life. But consciousness of God is continuous. Whether you're working or you're at home or you're meditating, the underlying consciousness is that unification with God. God is always present. Are we looking towards him or not? That is the question that we have to answer for ourselves. And for most of us, we are city dwellers, working people. We cannot run away into a forest. We cannot go into to the Himalayas. That means wherever we are right now, we bring God into our life now. We bring that balance, and then we lead fulfilling and happy lives. So with that, my dear friends, let us all stand for the Arati.